In Michigan, we call a winter morning like this crisp, but for most people, it just means it's really cold. We headed over to the Zeebewing Center, a Native American museum in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, to meet our friend Alice Joe.
Hello, welcome to Zeebewing.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Yes.
Hi.
Well, before we start off on our tour, we just wanted to give you a little gift just to say
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, it's $1 million. I know it is. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, no, you didn't.
Wow. Every girl deserves a little bit of chocolate.
Yeah, my weakness. Thank you. Yeah, awesome. All right, can I leave these here? You guys won't eat them? All right, thank you. Yeah, no, really help yourself. All right, let's take a tour.
Sounds good.
Do it. As someone who has Native American blood in them, it was such an honor to go on a tour of the Native American Museum with Alice Joe.
This is a replica of what we have in Cass, Michigan, and the picture glass. Picture glass, I do believe you'll see etchings in the stone of our Anishinaabe. Had it created different pictures, and of course our Anishinaabe right here.
And then Anishinaabe, did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah.
So
Very
first
good.
man lowered from above and placed on the earth.
Right on.
Okay, so that's what Native Americans believed, that is Anishinaabe was the first man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where we're entering now is going to talk about our seasons. That we had to learn how to survive in the great outdoors.
And so this is springtime right here. This,
right.
Okay. So this is for boiling sap. Wow.
Put on a slate and it'd get really, really, really hot.
Wow.
It would boil to a consistency of syrup.
I think what's amazing is when you look at stuff like this, it's just the knowledge that they had.
Yeah, really
It's just-
incredible.
like that's just a God-given knowledge.
Oh, totally.
Right.
It's just incredible.
Yeah, we were praying people too. Still are, of course, but it's just really awesome
Yeah.
how they just we were here to protect the earth. We treated the earth really good, and the earth treated us good too.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, you ladies are Anishinaabe, knowing that you stem from our people, and that's a beautiful thing. And like I said before, that you're going to feel something inside you. It's a spiritual thing.
I'm proud to have that. Honestly, I just feel honored and privileged that this would, to see all of this. I've never been to any type of museum like this, so it's really absolutely amazing.
Well, as we go through, you just think in your mind, this is my people.
Right.
This is my history. My history.
Yeah.
This isn't somebody else's but mine.
Right.
Which is
It's
awesome.
beautiful. Yeah.
Now, what is this map right here?
This map is, I want to say, one of the first original maps of how we migrated. And if you just kind of get a view of it, this is the United States. Of course, you can kind of see the state of Michigan.
Yes.
Looks a little,
The mittens changed
sloped.
a little bit.
Right.
Michigan is very cold during the winter time. I don't leave the house unless I'm covered head to toe with furry things, with wool things, anything to keep the cold off of my skin. And my heat is always on high in the house. But while walking through the Native American Museum, you see how the Native Americans kept warm during the winter.
This is one of the houses that we built. This is all birch bark. Yeah, of course, if you notice, a lot of things are made from the earth.
Yeah.
Like I said, the earth took good care of us.
Yes.
And you often wonder, you have to go to school for years and years and years to learn how to build things like architectural. It just was in us. I know. Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah, go inside. Take a peek. Pretty cozy.
This is what we'd be in right now.
Yeah, we
is
would.
very crazy.
This is incredible. I could totally live in this thing. Seriously.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, look, a little table.
And then the flooring would be
Just the earth.
and
Yep.
then would they lay?
Yeah, probably lace,
furs,
maybe some
pelt skin,
I
stuff
would,
like that?
yeah, just
Okay.
yeah, whatever they can get from the earth. That would almost like a bird's nest.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can think of.
Yeah.
I was so impressed by the beauty and the creativity that the Native Americans had. From their ornate beaded bags to the clothing that they wore. Everything had a special design that wasn't from an actual piece of paper that somebody else came up with. This is just a God-given talent to make these beautiful, decorative things. They took everything from the earth and they used it. They didn't waste anything.
Anything they killed, they used. Every part of the body,
Everything,
or
yeah.
the animal body, they would use. The furs, the sinew, everything. The bones.
Yeah.
They would build these, see the little hole? They would build them to where they could have fire inside. Yeah, it's really cool. Of course, we made our own snowshoes. We
I
had
know,
to
see, to
be
me
able to
that's
walk in the
amazing.
snow.
It's like the knowledge that
I
they
know.
had to build all of this stuff, to create. It's like, it's just, God gave them the blueprint
Yep.
and they just
Right on.
Did it.
We read about Delilah in the book of Judges. Now, Delilah's story is intertwined with Samson's. Samson was a Nazirite, which meant that he was to follow specific guidelines for his life in order to please God. And one of those guidelines was not to cut his hair. The other thing you need to know about Samson was that he was incredibly strong. So here you have Samson following the specific lifestyle. He's really, really strong. So how does Delilah play into all of this? Well, Samson and Delilah begin dating, and Delilah is tasked by the Philistines to find out where Samson's strength comes from. After several failed attempts of trying to figure this out, Delilah uses the whole, well, if you love me, you tell me, and finally Samson gives in. And he tells her that if she were to cut off all his hair, he would lose all of his strength. So Delilah sends word to the Philistines, and they set a trap for him. And the Philistines, they capture him, they cut off his hair, they gouge out his eyes, and Samson is captured. As far as Delilah goes, this story is really all we know about her. But as far as Samson goes, well, Samson does go on to die, but not before getting revenge on the men who captured him and being reconciled with God.
Well, as we walk through here, you're going to see where history's unfolding. You'll see how we're dressed in some of these portraits.
Yeah.
Our chief here, and this picture is even dressed a little differently. I think he turned in his war bonnet for a top hat. Of course, our people are going into the military.
Yeah, check this out. Wow.
This right here is something really significant in our history. It's when the Indian boarding schools came along.
It says Indians on
This
there.
is a whole display, and if you look at the bricks, and it's almost like a replica of the buildings that our children went to.
Yeah.
And you'll see in the background, and like I want to say about 5 miles from here is the old Indian boarding school, which is one of very, very few in the whole United States and Canada.
Wow.
So, our children were assimilated, forcefully assimilated into the white man's
Wow.
ways. They wanted to kind of, I guess, civilize them in their way. Of course, they had a band.
Oh, wow.
They say a lot of them were happiest when they were able to play outside and play in the band.
Yeah, the music.
Music.
Yeah, of course.
Soothe the soul.
Absolutely.
The thing that struck me the most in the museum was the portion about the children. You see how families were broken up, how lives were altered. Their heritage was being taken away from them by well-meaning people, but still it shattered their thinking, it shattered their world. I can't fully understand it, but Alice explained a bit more and helped me understand the culture and the time when that happened.
They were taking children against their will, against their parents' will, and housing them. And of course, it was for monetary gain. They wanted to get them skilled in certain areas so they could make money. Bottom line, yeah, it was really equivalent to the Holocaust era. Actually, from what I understand, Hitler had mimicked the way we were doing things to what he wanted to do. So.
Well, it sounds like that. Like, you know, in the Holocaust, it was his goal to breed this new people that fit his criteria of what he thought was the perfect person. So that's exactly as you're talking, because I've never heard any of this history before. That's exactly what it's sounding like, that they're trying to breed these children from very, very young into being whatever they see fit. Hey, so this is all completely new to me, and I'm just totally speechless about this. Wow.
Yeah, we just need to really bring it forth, and we really need to be agents of change. Or just say we're not gonna, a lot of healing has to take place. Now, what happens when you get these children into these schools, they want to teach them their religion, they want to teach them the truth of who God really is, and I think that's where you'll see a lot of our Anishinaabe people resist what had been taught, because a lot of them came in the name of God, and a lot of them were molested and abused in the name of God. So believe, we do have people that follow Jesus, that follow the cross. They know the power of Jesus, I want to say. But then you say some that say, well, we don't want nothing to do with this Jesus, because look what, they came in the name of Jesus and hurt our children. So there's a resistance there. My thoughts on that is I walk in love, and I do follow Jesus. Yeah, so you just got to go in with gentleness.
When we walked the grounds of the boarding school, I couldn't help but feel angry and sad inside. Even though it was well-meaning people who did this, you were essentially ripping the core of who these children were away from them. On the outside, you see these beautiful brick buildings and this fountain that once was filled with water where the kids would go play in. But at the same time, there was just such sadness when I looked at the buildings, when I saw these beautiful things. I couldn't just help but be so upset by them, because these children, they didn't know any better. There was nothing they could do. There was nobody to fight for them. It's one of those where it's like, I wish I could have been there to do something, to stand up for them, to fight for them. But all I can do now is learn and to help other people understand what happened and then move forward.
I guess the outside appearance wanted people to believe this was a great facility, that we are here to teach your children.
I had no idea that that was something that any of the Native American people across the United States ever experienced. I really had no idea that they would put children in boarding schools and do all the things that they did do to them. So that was all a big shock to me when I learned that part of the history. And in actuality, they were snuffing out their heritage, and how did they treat them? I mean, if
you didn't act the way they taught you to act, you were punished brutally. You know, it's like there's even been said that there's like little dungeons in these, like the deepest part of these buildings. Yeah, you got put in a dungeon where you had to stay there by yourself, or you got separated from a family member, a brother, sister, auntie, or Yeah. And a lot of the parents, they thought that the government came in to help them, right? But they were deceived. They were told that we're going to go ahead and take your children. We're going to teach them things. We're going to teach them how to build things, this and that. Well, to find out that they were actually just using them. My name is Alice Joe, and this is my story. I grew up on an Indian reservation in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. It was fun, but yet challenging. I grew up pretty poor. Grew up in an abusive environment, and it was several years before I come to know Jesus. And my mother was a Christian, my father was a severe alcoholic, but I still had that connection to my God. When I was 17, my dad died, and I was a senior in high school. And right after high school, I went away to college. I get married, have a couple children, and I started drinking. Oddly enough, I started drinking. Even though my dad died of it, I drank. I drank and drank and drank. Drank for almost 2 decades. Of course, you don't start out as an alcoholic, but it escalated to that point. And I was to the point where if I didn't drink every day, I was going to die, because that's how alcoholism works. And there was a time here just recently that I said, enough's enough. Can't do it no more. And I believe God positions us, and He allows us to go through things that we ultimately will take that mess and use it for something greater. As I think back on my life, there's some tragic things that have happened. One of them was my little sister. She was almost 28 when she died in a horrible traffic accident at the hands of a drunk driver. It was a huge loss to our family. Then here just recently, I had a nephew that passed away from heroin overdose, which is really huge in our community, and my husband and I, we work together, which is awesome. We work and help others. We work with our tribal youth. A lot of them struggle with addictions, and I just thank God that He could take that and use it for His glory. We have a stand against the drugs and alcohol on our reservation. It's been a real problem. So our community really takes a stand against it. Mm-hmm. It's destroyed a lot of families. I've personally been affected. I had a sister who died when she was almost 28 in a car accident due to drunk driving. And then my nephew passed away here almost a year ago due to a heroin overdose. So I'm real passionate when it comes to the war on drugs. And of course I had my own issues. I really wouldn't be sitting here right now if I didn't have God in my life. I tell people, when you put God first in everything, life is effortless. My husband and I both, we walk through life knowing and seeing how He works in every little detail, every situation. So, yeah, and I'm not ashamed of it. It's something that you enjoy giving away. I said, Lord, if you're going to use anybody, go ahead, use me. Pick me. I'm here. So it's a wonderful journey. And I'm glad God picked me to be a native. I love it, because I see this spiritual aspect of it. You know, he's gifted me, brought me huge talents along the way. So it's a beautiful culture to be a part of.
One of the things we learned from Alice Joe was the power of gift giving in the Native American culture. She blessed Jenny and I with these awesome gifts. She gave Jenny a pair of earrings, me this beautiful beaded bracelet, and it really just blessed my heart that she would see fit to give me such a unique and special gift. So we love that.
Thank you so much for today. It was It was wonderful.
Yeah.
We really appreciated you taking the time and giving us the tour and just showing us the culture.
And
You're very welcome.
teaching us and enlightening us. I've learned so much, you know. It was just wonderful. It was an amazing experience. So.
Well, it's my honor. And I want to give you something.
Oh.
These were made by one of our native artists,
Oh my
Summer
goodness.
Peters.
Beautiful.
Wow. I love them. All right, I gotta put them on. Gotta put them on right now.
Put 'em
Match
on.
your outfit.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't even plan that, guys. Wasn't even planned.
Oh, they look so good on you.
So pretty and sparkly.
Yeah.
Anything sparkly, I love. Bright
Well,
colors.
the beads are just
My
amazing.
kind of woman.
Yeah.
Bling bling.
What do you think?
Beautiful.
This is for you. Wear it proud. It's very special. I'd like to say I made it, but I didn't.
Thank you.
That's gorgeous.
Totally
I love
my style.
that. And the colors are so
Oh,
you
I
too.
love it. They are.
Aw.
This, I mean, again, it goes with my outfit.
Yeah.
So you knew what you were
You
doing.
did.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a heavy day, and Whit and I were looking to recharge and really just kind of reflect on what we learned and what we heard. And so we went down to one of our favorite Mexican restaurants and got a great meal to eat.
So Jenny took me to one of her favorite places to eat, this crazy Mexican place that was just full of vibrant colors and incredible art everywhere, and the food was amazing, and we chowed down.
I am eating a chicken burrito with sour cream and tomato and cheese and lettuce. It's my favorite. Get it every time. I don't deviate, okay? I'm not a big fan of change. And when I find something really, really good, it's like, why change it up at all? You know? Yeah. So I'm actually gonna go back and I'm gonna start eating this again.
I like to explore and do different things. Today, for the very first time, I'm having their chicken burrito. Though I am more of a plain Jane as far as I don't really like the lettuce and tomato kind of thing. The cheese is my go-to. If I could just stick a straw in it and just drink it, that would be ideal. But they kind of look down on that here, so pretty simple. Chicken inside a burrito, smothered in cheese. There you go. So, very tasty.
Okay, I'm officially stuffed,
Me too.
but I think it's time to go pick up Casey.
Let's do it.
You ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Thank you for letting
Ladies
me go.
first.
Thank you. So what can we take away from Delilah's story? One of the biggest takeaways for me is that God means business. Delilah ruined Samson's life by using her words and her charms to manipulate him. But you know, Delilah isn't the only one at fault here. God gave Samson specific guidelines to follow so that he would have a good life. But Samson didn't do it. And at times, we don't do that either. You know, God gives us instructions or he calls us to do something, and yet we don't listen, and then we get into trouble. And just remember, he has your and my best interest in mind, so when he speaks, we need to listen. My friend Casey's coming! I'm so excited. We're gonna go pick her up from the airport. Three reasons why I love Casey and why she's awesome. Okay, first reason, she's tall like me, so we're basically twins. Number two, in college, we spent like our last semester just hanging out, watching TV, getting pizza. It was amazing. And number three, she loves the Lord with all her heart, and she's just one of my best friends, and I cannot wait for the adventure that we're gonna have.
So I think the best way to describe you in our friendship has always been to describe our senior year together. Whenever I talk about you,
Yeah.
it's just kind of, well, it really started off because everybody thought we were twins, like the same person, and get us confused.
That's funny.
I know.
Right?
I can see it. I can see why.
don't think
I really
like
can.
I mean, if you take away the different color eyes, different color hair,
Different nose.
different mouth, eyebrows,
We're
cheekbones,
close to the same
chins,
height.
height,
You know.
But I mean, when you take all of that away,
Listen, to a
I
blind
think-
person,
it could work.
you say something.
Potato.
Now you say potato.
Potato.
Oh.
Potato.